one of the problems with going to war is that there's not a big upside. If the war is a quick war that we win decisively, it is out of people's minds. If it is a longer war that takes a long, months and months or years, to accomplish objectives, what we've seen in the recent years is that it becomes less popular.
It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome back to the Michael Medved Show Jonathan Allen. Jonathan is an award-winning reporter and New York Times bestselling author who covers national politics for NBC News. He's also the co-author of 3 triumphant bestsellers about recent campaigns, HRC, Shattered, and Lucky. Lucky about the un, um, unrepeated success of Joe Biden and his campaign. And of course, the rest of them featuring Donald Trump. And Jonathan, before we get started, I just want to remind folks to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Michael Medved Official. Right now, you take a look at the primaries and you take a look at the coming up, what is happening with the political situation in this country, and you say voters are itching for change. What aspect of the primary elections indicated the greatest focus on that desire for change?
I think the biggest thing that I saw was uh, on the Democratic side, that just incredible turnout. You're seeing presidential election level turnout in midterm primaries right now in on the Democratic side, particularly in Texas. But I think also what you saw was some incumbents going down in primaries. You saw, for instance, Dan Crenshaw, congressman from Texas, beaten in a Republican primary. You saw John Cornyn, the longtime senator from Texas, win a plurality in a three-way race, but get forced into a runoff with Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas. You see Tony Gonzalez, congressman from Texas, who was having an affair and did not admit to it until the day after the primary, but forced into a runoff and now saying that he will not continue to try to win that runoff. So I think what you're seeing is a little bit of anti-incumbent. I think you're seeing a whole lot of anti-Trump energy on the Democratic side, and between those two things, uh, you know, it reads as a big moment for change. Now we're in March of 2026, and the midterm elections are in November, and a lot of things can happen between now and then. But if
Uh,
elections were held today, I would not want to be the incumbent or in the incumbent party.
Okay, and concerning the incumbent party, the polling shows that the current war in which we're engaged is not popular, and that by almost 2-to-1 margin, Americans disapprove of our waging war against Iran. Is that going to be a factor, you think, when the election rolls around a couple of months from now?
I think the political problem. So maybe it depends on whether we're still at war. Um, and how that's going. But I think politically, the problem with one of the problems with going to war is that uh, there's not a big upside. If the war is a quick war that we win decisively, it is out of people's minds. If it is a longer war that takes a long, months and months or years uh, to accomplish objectives, um, what we've seen in the recent years is that it becomes less popular, and whether that's Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq, that these wars, as they drag on, become less popular with the American public. This one starts out unpopular uh, on most political issues, and I don't think the president went into Iran uh, for political advantage because it is so clearly not something that would be politically advantageous. But on most political issues, you seek to do things that unify your party and divide the other party. And in this case, what the president has done is taken on a war that unifies Democrats and at the very least questioning whether the process was right, whether he should have gone to Congress. And in a lot of their cases, they don't agree with the war at all, and splits Republicans. Some of them are in favor of it, and others are worried about whether he should have gone to Congress or whether this is the right war or whether it was done, with the right intentions in mind. And so I think there's an enormous political danger for the president in it, and that's the reason I don't think he did it for political reasons. Because if he was thinking about what his best political interest was, I think it would have been relatively obvious that this was not going to be something that was, immensely popular to start with.
Well, especially with the president saying that people have to tolerate the idea of gas prices going up. I mean, one of the things that he's been fact checked on from all of his public appearances, including the State of the Union, is the idea that gas prices are about as low as they can go. Well, not anymore. The impact of the war on the economy looks like it could be profound, even if the victory, the ultimate victory, which I know we all hope we achieve, that the economic impact could be devastating, no?
Certainly, you know, uh, I've been watching gas prices all week, and we've seen as rapid as can recall rises in gas prices. Right, the average gallon of gas was under $3 a week and a half ago, and now you're trending up over three and a quarter. So 30 cents a gallon. You got a 15-gallon tank, right? Like you're starting to if your gallon of or your tank of gasoline costs you another $5, than it did a week ago, and you're getting 2 or 3 tanks of gas a week because of your driving habits. People feel that. Um,
Yeah, it's right where people live. Speaking of where people
by the way,
live,
I'm sorry, Michael. One other thing, the other thing that doesn't get talked about as much is for everybody who's getting Amazon or buying things from Amazon or buying things from businesses with transportation costs, jet fuel costs. I mean, everything ends up going up. All your goods end up going up.
you have another column recently about the what led Trump to replace Kristi Noem. A good political move, and what is, by the way, the Shield for America, where she is getting an alternate job?
I think it's a shield for Kristi Noem, a fig leaf, if you will, of a new job for her to take on, so that he wasn't outright firing her. You know, that I mean, politically, I think it was a necessary move for the president. I don't think he couldn't sustain having her at DHS. Obviously, the killing of Alex Priddy in particular in Minnesota was a bad moment for her, not just because her department agents killed somebody, who there was no evidence of him being a threat, but also because she immediately went out and called him a domestic terrorist, along with other administration officials, by the way, and then didn't have an answer for it in hearings. I just don't, and there were contracting issues at DHS. There's a whole spate of things, but ultimately, I think the president watched her testify before Congress and blame him for the advertising campaign that she undertook featuring her earlier this year, and just was done with her.
Okay, a lot of people are talking about who's next. Next to get the hook, is it Pam Bondi or Cash Patel?
I don't play in the prediction markets, Michael. I know they're very lucrative, but I do not know who will be next.
Uh-huh. And, Kash Patel has been sort of on people's list as a potential job switcher coming up. Meanwhile,
The president did not like the Miracle on Ice when he
right,
drank the beer with the hockey team.
the miracle. Well, that's again who did the president liked it well enough to feature the hockey players, but not Kash Patel. Appreciate it, Jonathan Allen. His most recent columns, which are always entertaining and illuminating, are posted up at our website at michaelmedved.com.